After learning that the campus hunk roommate is a snake man, I quietly crawled into his bed in the middle of the night. "What are you doing?" The other roommates had all gone to sleep. Liam looked at me squeezing into the quilt and let out a low-pitched exclamation. I covered his mouth. He was cold to the touch, and he stared at me with wide-open eyes. I nudged him with my body and then lay down properly, showing my round head. "Liam, do you think we're good brothers?" I decided to manipulate him. "Yes, I guess so." Liam is aloof by nature, but he is quite close to the guys in our dormitory. Our faces were extremely close, and our four big eyes stared into each other's in the darkness. Blinking, I gave a silly laugh. Liam nervously moved his butt back. I grinned slyly. "I heard that you snakes all have too. I'm curious." Liam looked utterly incredulous, and his ears turned red. I spoke sincerely. "Then let me take a look. We're all brothers. Let me take a look. I'm really too curious." A few hours ago, I caught Liam taking a shower. I shouted, "So big," and fainted straight to the ground. What a huge snake's tail. Liam is actually a half-human, half-snake orc. The P.E. class was held in the swimming pool, and Liam asked for leave. I happened to go back to the dormitory to get something. The bathroom door wasn't closed tightly. I was in a hurry to pee and just pushed the door open with a click. What came into view was a thick white, scaled snake's tail, a fair-skinned and well-built upper body, and Liam's face red as a ripe tomato. When I woke up, Liam's lower body had already returned to a human form. "Since you've seen it, keep it a secret for me." I only knew after he explained. His body can't be exposed to a large amount of water. Otherwise his lower body will transform into a snake's tail and appear. No wonder he never goes to swimming classes. But why keep it a secret? This is so cool. Everyone will not like me if they see it. How could that be? Liam handed me a cup of hot water with a calm look. "It will scare everyone. Weren't you just scared too?" I was just too excited. I comforted him. "But everyone will still like you afterwards." Liam didn't say a word. He lowered his head. His slightly wet bangs covered his eyes. Leaning on the railing of the bed ladder, his figure was extremely good, looking in the light and shadow. "What about you? What about you?" Liam's voice was light. "Will you still like me?" In the afternoon, my answer was of course. Take the current situation of lying in his quilt and snuggling up to him, for example. I really like the cold touch of his arms and legs. It's very refreshing. But he coldly rejected my reasonable request. "I'm in a human form now. Everyone looks the same in human form. There's nothing special to see." I got up disheartened and was about to leave. Liam, with red ears, grabbed the corner of my clothes in the quilt. "Since you're already here, what does that mean? If you get out of bed and then get back in, you'll wake them up." He paused for a moment. "It's quite cold for a snake to sleep alone. Why don't you stay here tonight?" I thought about it. "Okay then." Then I lay back in the quilt and snuggled up to him to warm his body. This is what a brother should do. Late at night, in my sleep, I felt something cold and smooth twining around my legs and waist. What Liam said makes sense. I can't ensure that everyone can accept him as quickly as I did, as the only one who knows the truth. With great power comes great responsibility. I decided to protect him. In the morning, when I woke up, Liam and our roommate Theodore were brushing their teeth and washing their faces in front of the sink. I suddenly bounced up from the bed and rushed to squeeze between Liam and Theodore. Theodore's big butt hit the wall. He had just put on facial cleanser and was rinsing it off. With his eyes closed, he shouted, "Ouch, who is it?" I straightened his body. "You're just washing your face. Why are you splashing so much water?" "Mateo? So what if I splash water?" "Don't you splash water when you wash your face?" "Can I even splash water onto your bed?" Theodore had just bumped his butt and was muttering to himself. I stood firmly between the two of them to block Liam. All right, now you can splash water. You're being weird." After Theodore washed his face with water, he rubbed his butt and left. Liam hasn't said anything yet. I ignored him and turned to ask Liam in a low voice, "Are you okay?" Liam was a little stunned. After reacting, he whispered in my ear, "It only changes when it gets a large amount of water. This little water is okay. Otherwise, how can I wash my hands and face on a daily basis?" That's right. My face flushed suddenly, feeling a bit stupid. He just told me yesterday and I forgot. I was just too nervous. At night, when the other roommates were not around, I came back with the takeout and heard Liam taking a shower again. "It's just the two of us guys here. What a good opportunity." With an excited heart and a trembling hand, I took a big step forward and banged on the bathroom door. "It's me. Let me take a look." "Bro, we're all brothers. Letting me take a look isn't a big deal." I pleaded outside. "Just fulfill me. Fulfill my humble curiosity. I'll just take one look." "Really?" I quickened the rhythm of knocking on the door, looking as if I was going to break in. "Liam, please let me take a look quickly. They'll be back soon." I pressed my whole face against the door. Suddenly, when Liam opened the door, I lost my balance. I lunged forward, and my cheek touched his warm and firm chest. After I steadied myself, he suddenly stepped back. Somehow, Liam in front of me had already dried himself off, transformed into a human form, and tied a white bath towel around his waist. He looked at me warily, his hands tightly clutching the knot of the bath towel. You. His ears were bright red. This isn't something to be shown to just anyone. Liam is really stingy. Hasn't he ever been to a northern bathhouse? Oh, right? He definitely hasn't. Since he reveals his true form when he touches water, he can only take a bath secretly. Then he should be as reserved as a southerner all his life. I thought that some southerners even wear underwear when taking a bath. I gave up the idea of forcing him. Forget it, I'll let him off. For some time afterwards, I was worried about Liam. What if water splashed on him? I started following Liam and acting as his free bodyguard. I tried to sit next to him in class, let him walk on the outside by the lake, and stood close to him while scanning around when getting soup in the cafeteria. That's right. What if someone knocked over the soup pot while serving soup? Wouldn't a pot of soup be the same as a pot of water? What if a pot of soup spilled on him? What if he directly transforms in the cafeteria? I imagined a series of tomatoes, green vegetable leaves, and egg flowers hanging on his beautiful and fair snake tail, writhing and coiling on the cafeteria floor. No. I must never let such a thing happen. It's better to be safe than sorry. I have to be on guard all the time. It started to rain heavily after we came out of the cafeteria. Oh my God. I guarded against everything but the weather. I rushed into the rain without hesitation. Liam, don't be afraid. Wait for me. I'll rush back to the dormitory to get an umbrella for you right away. I had only been in the rain for a couple of seconds when Liam pulled me back. I brought raincoats. Liam took out 2 transparent raincoats from his pocket and skillfully unpacked and unfolded them. Since I'm afraid of water, I always keep a few extra in my pocket just in case. I suddenly remembered that since I met Liam, every time it rained, while others used umbrellas, he always wore a transparent raincoat, because on windy rainy days, the rain would still slant onto one's body even with an umbrella. So this guy has always known how to take care of himself. I worry for nothing, but he still walked very carefully. Liam walked slowly. After returning to the dormitory, he leaned against the window and looked outside. I thought of the habits of snakes. Snakes find it stuffy in their dens on rainy days and always want to go out for a walk. The rain outside had stopped. The damp and cool air was the greatest temptation for snakes. Do you want to go out and have some fun? I tempted him. This snake, but he was very cold. No, I want to. Will you accompany me? Liam's eyes lit up slightly and he nodded. After going downstairs, he stretched his neck and constantly inhaled the soft and moist air, looking extremely excited. I could feel the uncontrollable joy and excitement beneath his calm-looking face. I took him towards the outside of the school. Since it's not convenient to see some parts, you can at least let me see your snake's tail, right? He hesitated for a moment, stepped into the water with his feet, and transformed into a beautiful snake, scaled tail. Liam didn't show many expressions on his face, but his snake's tail was swaying in the stagnant water. He kept a straight face and didn't look at me, but his tail was wriggling around me. I've only shown my snake's tail to you. Ah? I was stunned for a moment. Oh my. Then isn't he my exclusive Digimon, the kind that can evolve? I'm so awesome. He blushed. I also blushed from holding back my laughter. We strolled on the street all night. He took my hand and said he had something to tell me. I asked him what it was, and he said he'd tell me tomorrow. We didn't sleep all night, and we were both drowsy in class the next day. We got dirty from playing last night, so we had to take a shower before going to bed after getting back to the dormitory. But the door of the dormitory bathroom was broken and wouldn't close. It was very dangerous for Liam to take a shower then. To prevent others from finding out, I could only stand outside the bathroom, with my hands behind my back, tightening the doorknob and playing with my phone while leaning against the door, hearing the sound of the shower head turning on inside. I couldn't help but think of Liam's beautiful tail, and the tip of his tail that gracefully coiled in the water last night, twisting and stretching. I swallowed my saliva and couldn't help but wonder, can the tip of his tail scrub his back? That would be quite convenient. After Liam finished showering, I took a shower too. When I came out, he secretly tugged at me and whispered in my ear, "Do you still remember I have something to tell you? Come to my bed and I'll tell you." I happily hugged my pillow and was about to climb onto the bed. Theodore turned his head and saw me, then stopped me. "Mateo, what are you going to do on Liam's bed?" Liam and I were both stunned for a moment. Then Liam spoke. "I feel cold. It'll be warmer with 2 people." His body was always cold all year round. There was nothing wrong with this statement. Theodore was confused. Really? Then Mateo can sleep with me tonight. It's really a bit cold after the rain. Another roommate, Henry, also said it was very cold tonight. He stroked his chin and then pushed his glasses up. You should give Mateo to me. I'm the thinnest and can't stand the cold. I was stunned. Am I some kind of hot water bottle? Do all three of them want to sleep with me? But I had to admit that my body temperature was usually on the high side. Theodore, you can have him tomorrow. Henry, you can have him the day after tomorrow. And tonight, he'll sleep with me and Liam. I made a schedule for the three of them. In this way, no one would be offended. But Theodore and Henry both wanted me tonight, saying it was really cold today. Theodore said that if I accompanied him, he would take me to eat pickled fish with sauerkraut at my favorite restaurant tomorrow. I hesitated and glanced at Liam. Is it okay for me to listen to what he wants to tell me tomorrow? Liam didn't respond to my look and directly said he would treat me for a week. Henry upped the ante and said he would treat me for a month. Theodore upped the ante again and said he would treat me for a semester. Those three of them just got into a deadlock. Boys always like to engage in meaningless competitions that put themselves in an awkward situation. Finally, Theodore said he would give me a limited edition figurine. I was tempted. This thing has been out of stock globally, and Theodore has won. Auction has always been a game for the rich. Money has moved me, who is as immovable as if struck by lightning. Otherwise, should I just give in to him tonight? I tried to discuss it with Liam. Liam, otherwise Utomo. Liam tightened his lips, covered his mouth, tilted his head, and blew a puff of warm air into my ear, saying something I couldn't refuse. Don't you always want to see too? I'll show you tonight. I took a big step onto his bed, pulled the bed curtain, lay down obediently, and rubbed my hands. Come on, let me have a look quickly. Really? Yes, after I finish what I need to say to you, I'll show you. Liam got into the quilt in his pajamas. I looked at him excitedly. Hurry up. Hurry up. Show it to me quickly. Let me experience the wonder of nature quickly. Let me witness the diversity of species quickly. Wait a minute, I suddenly thought of something. You haven't encountered water. How can you transform? Encountering water makes me transform into a snake's body passively, but I can also transform into a snake's body actively. So amazing. The dormitory bed was narrow. Our pillows were squeezed and overlapped. Our two faces were extremely close, and our breaths hit each other's faces. Liam's cheeks were flushed. I thought he was hot, so I lifted the quilt for him. He quickly pulled the quilt back and covered himself. He asked me in a soft voice, "Why have you been so nice to me recently?" "I want to protect you," I answered without hesitation. His face became even redder. "Then why do you want to protect me?" I was stunned for a moment. I haven't thought about it." After thinking for a moment, I answered him firmly. It's everyone's responsibility to protect animals. I was kicked off the bed. My buttocks ached. Humans are also animals. Hey, can a human's buttocks be kicked like this? No wonder they say snakes can't be tamed. I was a bit angry and covered my buttocks and got back into bed. If you don't want to see it, then don't see it. You still lied. The next day, I was in a huff and didn't squeeze between Liam and Theodore to wash up. I sat on the bench and thought, come and ask me if my buttocks hurt. Ask me once and I'll forgive you. As a result, Liam also seemed angry. He grabbed a book and left without waiting for me. What is he angry about? Could it be that he thinks the action of force is mutual, and kicking me in the butt made his foot hurt? I had a cold war with him for several days. During these days when we didn't talk, I still secretly observed Liam. He returned to his previous solitary ways. Theodore came over and put his arm around my back, looking ahead with me. What are you looking at? Are you looking at Liam? He also stared at Liam's back and sighed. What do you think Liam goes to those gutters and wall crevices every day for? Liam is like a snake, liking to sit alone by the damp grass. I can't say either. Theodore patted me on the shoulder mysteriously. I've added a good thing to the dormitory. Come back early today. I won't go back early. Liam is sitting by the lake. What if he accidentally falls in? I watch Liam stay on the grass by the lake every day, and only go back to the dormitory after watching him go upstairs. I really have an old father's heart. When I got back to the dormitory, I saw Liam frowning and pinching his nose. What's that smell? Theodore pointed to the balcony. I saw several potted plants with red flowers and green leaves neatly arranged over there. The flowers were sent by the next door dorm. Aren't they beautiful? I put them on the balcony to decorate our dorm. Theodore explained on his own. But Liam's expression became even more strange. He seemed not to want to breathe anymore. I quickly asked Theodore, what kind of flowers are these? They are balsam flowers. There are plenty of them in my hometown. Haven't you seen them? Snakes are most afraid of balsam flowers. I picked up the balsam flowers that Theodore had just brought in and returned them to the next door dorm. As soon as I came back, I reached out and caught Liam, who was about to fall, and supported him with my body. Are you okay? Yes. Theodore looked completely confused. Mateo, why have you been acting so strangely lately? You push me when I'm washing my face, and you return the flowers I receive. Henry pushed his glasses and answered for me. Haven't you noticed that Liam is not feeling well? He doesn't like that smell. Theodore looked at Liam suspiciously. He walked over, carefully and seriously, sizing up Liam on me from head to toe. You like shady places, hate balsam flowers, and your surname is She. Are you a snake, kid? Why not? He is a snake, but only half a snake. Theodore got closer and closer, observing Liam's face. Suddenly, I frowned involuntarily. Who gave you permission to touch my snake? I pushed Theodore away, and Theodore was even more confused. Is Liam your precious one? Hearing this, Liam's body trembled slightly against me. He looked at me, his eyes brightened, and I retorted to Theodore. Yes, baby, my Digimon. Thanks to my initiative to break the ice, I made up with Liam. I searched for a lot of snake-keeping tips. For fear of making my snake unhappy again, I accompanied him for a walk by the river. He walked on the outside, and I walked on the inside near the river. When Theodore was mopping the floor, I told Theodore to use less water on the floor. Are you at odds with water? Theodore muttered about me. I didn't care. Sometimes at night, I would secretly crawl into Liam's bed. Looking at him sincerely, I said, let me touch your scales. Liam doesn't seem as stingy as before. He still allows me to touch the superficial things like his scales. After I made the request, he would turn his lower body into a snake's tail in bed and wrap it around my legs. Whenever this happens, I would think that it feels really good to have such a precious person by my side. But recently, he suddenly won't let me touch him again. He won't allow me to go to his bed at night. Even a slight touch from me makes him uncomfortable. When I handed something to him, my fingertips gently touched his palm. His whole body trembled, and he gave a start. In class, my knee touched his knee. His whole body trembled again, and he gave a start. Are you cold? It shouldn't be. The temperature is rising this month. No. Liam quickly pulled back his knee. Don't touch me recently. It feels strange. What's so strange? I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable. Did I make him unhappy? No, there isn't. Moreover, his appetite has been getting worse recently. It's not the season when the temperature is so hot that people can't eat. How can he not eat properly? My snakey. I'll feel heartache. What if he gets skinny from hunger? He doesn't buy food, so I'll pack it and bring it back to the dormitory. Snakes need food just like iron needs steel. One meal less and you'll feel hungry. He looks listless. Thank you, but I really have no appetite. He's been refusing to eat for how many days? No, I have to find a way to make him eat. After school, I take him out for barbecue. He gave me face and reluctantly took 2 bites, then started drinking. I've never drunk with Liam before. I don't know how much he can drink. So I asked him in advance so that I'd have an idea in mind. How much can you drink? Liam sits upright and answers calmly. I've never gotten drunk. Oh my goodness. As the so-called king of drinking, I can't stand such a provocative remark. I directly clinked glasses with him at the beginning. Before he finished a pitcher, he passed out. Didn't you say you could hold your liquor? He rested his head on my shoulder. I never said that. You just said you've never gotten drunk. Liam's breathing was already unsteady, and he spoke intermittently. Well, I've never drunk alcohol. Of course, I've never gotten drunk. He was taller than me. He slumped over on my shoulder, and his body trembled. I really couldn't take him back to the school several kilometers away, so I could only help him to a hotel. After I finished taking a shower, I found Liam had fallen asleep in the bathtub by himself. No, I have to carry him to the bed. I tugged his arm onto my shoulder with all my might and propped his upper body up forcefully. Just as I lifted him up, suddenly something coiled around my foot. It wound around me, circling up to my calf, knee, thigh, and waist. The shiny white scales glistened. I saw a thick snake's tail that was softer than usual. Why is Liam transformed? Liam's tail coiled around my body tightly. I couldn't stand steadily and fell onto the bed with him. His tail rubbed against me tightly, wriggling and sliding. His collar was open, his lips were slightly parted, and his eyes sparkled. I felt something was wrong with him. At least his snake body usually doesn't feel as soft as it does today. Moreover, his expression is very strange, especially his eyes, which show a strange sign. More importantly, his body keeps trembling, which is even more intense than when he didn't let me touch him before. I was held in his arms. In a panic, I grabbed my phone to look up what was going on. Why does a snake have a poor appetite, tremble when touched, and its body become soft? After entering the question, the signal bar on my phone spun feebly, and the search page showed that it was loading. I planned to ask Liam if he was feeling unwell. Just as I was about to open my mouth, something slapped my left and right cheeks, and my face turned red instantly. Liam stared at me drunkenly. Don't you like to look? Can you see clearly from this close? I've witnessed the wonders of nature and the diversity of species. It turns out that there can really be two. My face hurt so much. At this time, the search page on my phone finally loaded with an answer of 5 characters, snake mating season. 12 hours later, when Liam came to his senses, I almost fainted. Seeing that he was awake, I put on my shoes, supported my waist and quickly slipped away. I have something to do. You go back to school by yourself first. I fled out in a panic. When I calmed down and returned to school, I was stopped by Liam as soon as I entered the dormitory. He stood in front of me with a toothbrush in his mouth. How about having dinner together later, after waking up? He seemed to remember nothing at all. Are you hungry? I looked up at him. He frowned slightly and thought, my appetite has been inexplicably poor recently. I don't know why, but I suddenly feel like eating something after waking up. I was silent for a few seconds. Maybe it's because you released your energy. Then go to the canteen and have something to eat by yourself. I won't go. I'm a bit full. Liam looked at me blankly for a while. I usually pestered him all the time. It was very strange for him that I suddenly didn't go with him today. Liam turned around to leave and then suddenly looked back, asking tentatively, did I do anything embarrassing yesterday? You did. Seeing that I didn't answer, he asked again, like vomiting all over you or something? If it's about this kind of thing, then there hasn't been any. No. After I answered, he left relieved. After dinner, when I came back, Liam strolled over absent-mindedly and brushed my arm with his. Take a walk by the river? Previously, he loved going alone. Later, after I pestered him relentlessly, he got used to going with me. He didn't tremble when he touched me. Now it was my turn to tremble. All of a sudden, I shivered. It's too cold. Don't go today. I made up an excuse randomly. In the following many days, I avoided him whenever I could and kept my distance from Liam. Liam became a bit unhappy. Even Theodore and Henry said why we weren't together anymore. These days I've thought a lot and kept asking myself in my mind, why am I afraid to be with him? Because he always touches me. So what if he touches me? I shiver whenever he touches me. Why do I shiver? Because that day wait, why didn't I refuse that day? Although I'm a few centimeters shorter than him and not as strong as him, he was drunk and dizzy. I could have escaped, but I didn't escape. Something is wrong with me. Thinking of this, my cheeks burned like fire. That night, his breath and voice lingered in my ears. His messy collar, the entangled snake body, and his snake tail that trembled all night, along with his strong muscular upper body, all demonstrated the allure of a man. It's okay that I didn't resist. I even felt secretly happy at that time. Why is my snake so fierce? I didn't even push him once. Isn't this love? This is no longer the kind of love for one's pet snake. Okay? After realizing my own feelings, I took out my phone and sent a message to Liam at dusk. By the lake. Wait for me. He usually sits by the river at this time. I'm just afraid that he might leave too early today and miss me. I added another sentence. I have something important to tell you. I stuffed the phone in my pocket and ran towards the lake. I wanted to pour out my heart as soon as possible, perhaps due to excessive excitement. Upon seeing Liam's back, I slipped on my feet and fell into the lake. When I fell in, I tripped and my foot cramped. I thrashed about in the water and couldn't get back to the surface. Liam ran over upon hearing the noise. I shouted desperately, don't jump. Don't jump. I can thrash my way up by myself. You can't get wet and reveal your true form. Please don't come down to save me, because there are people all around. The thing I was most worried about happened. Liam jumped straight in to save me without hesitation. The moment he entered the water, he whipped out a huge white, scaled tail. The water splashed everywhere. The white snake lashed its tail. An astonishing sight. There were continuous screams on the shore. The fact that Liam is a snake man was exposed. I directed Liam to hold me and swim to the deserted opposite bank of the river, because I heard someone among the crowd on this lakeshore exclaim and shout, there's a monster. Not everyone can accept Liam. We landed on the opposite bank, passed through the grove, climbed over the wall and escaped from school. We hid in a deserted alley. Liam grabbed my calf and forcefully bent my foot upward. His clean snake tail smeared a layer of ash on the ground with scattered dry leaves. I couldn't help but feel distressed. Liam was wearing a white shirt on the upper body. After being wet by water, it had already revealed his perfect and well-built figure under the fabric. I swallowed my saliva, and even the ankle held by him felt embarrassed. There were water droplets dripping on my feet, which fell from Liam's face and hair. His good-looking facial features made me stare blankly. Really, it left me in a daze. I really want to kiss him. After the massage and relaxation, I finally returned to normal. Only then did I see that his beautiful snake tail was scratched when passing through the woods. Wait for me. I'll go buy you a towel to wipe off. Only when his body gets dry can the lower half of Liam's body return to a human form. He obediently waited for me in the alley. But when I came back with a towel and iodine, Liam was gone. He didn't answer the phone or reply to the text messages. There were no traces of his departure around. It's impossible for him to disappear out of thin air. Sure enough, I heard the approaching footsteps and the voices of students talking. I saw that snake go this way. What snake? It's clearly a half-human, half-snake monster. I just saw him carrying a person coming this way. I can't be wrong. I covered my mouth and escaped over the wall from the side. Did Liam return to school? Was it still discovered by some people? I rushed back to school in a hurry. The news that a giant snake monster appeared by the river had spread like wildfire. The rumor I heard at the school gate was that the monster by the river kidnapped a male college student. As I walked further into the school, the rumor I heard was that the monster by the river ate a male college student. When I returned to the dormitory, Theodore grabbed my hand. Are you okay? I heard that the monster by the river fell in love with a male college student and devoured him alive because of unrequited love. I finally understand how rumors are born. They get more and more absurd as they spread. I ignored his excitement and quickly asked him, "Have you seen Liam?" Henry had just come back from outside the door, and the sausage in his mouth plopped to the ground. What? The male college student eaten by the monster is Liam. Since he was still standing on the threshold, everyone in the corridor heard it. I heard a commotion on this floor, and someone shouted over there, "Liam from Class XX was eaten by the monster." Enough. I pushed Henry aside and ran out. It seemed that Liam hadn't come back at all. All night long, I searched back and forth on the road where Liam took me to escape dozens of times. There was no trace at all. Passing by the small path where Liam and I took a walk after the rain, my heart ached. I woke up in the dormitory the next day. I clearly remembered that I had fallen asleep on the bench on that path. How did I get here? Theodore turned to look at me. How else? Liam saw you lying on the road and carried you back. Liam is back? I sat up abruptly, and Henry pointed to the bathroom. Yes, it wasn't him who was eaten. He's taking a shower in there now. The lock of the bathroom was fixed, and I heard the sound of water splashing inside. Liam. I gently knocked on the door. Are you okay? A soft yes came from inside the door. My hanging heart finally settled down. Liam came out of the bathroom after changing his clothes and stared at me. His wet lips seemed to be tickling my heart. After looking at each other for a few seconds, we said in unison, "Shall we take a walk outside?" On campus, I walked beside him. Where did you go last night? He seemed reluctant to answer my question directly. Well, it's nothing serious. Nothing serious, but you didn't come back? I frowned and kicked a pebble. I was so worried about you. I'm back now, aren't I? Liam seemed to know that I was scolding him in my heart. I lowered my head and continued walking. Suddenly, he grabbed my wrist. Mateo, don't avoid me like you did a few days ago. Okay, actually, I didn't deliberately avoid him some time ago. I just didn't understand why I got nervous when he looked at me and my heart raced when he touched me. It turned out that I liked him, but now that I've made my feelings clear, I definitely won't avoid him anymore. I turned around to face him, my heart pounding. Before I could say anything, he spoke first. I don't want to be separated from you anymore. Mateo, I like you. Before my mind could think, I leaned forward and kissed him actively. What a coincidence. I like you too. However, there was a barely perceptible movement flashing through the woods behind. I'm now in a relationship with Liam. Liam has become very clingy and follows me everywhere. When we announced this to Theodore and Henry, they insisted that we hold a feast just for the four of us. Consider it as a wedding. That's what Theodore said as he dragged us to a barbecue restaurant. Boss, bring the largest portion of spicy crayfish. Henry can hold his liquor. He ordered several cases of beer and said he'd drink right from the case. I suspect they're just here to freeload. Of course, we're just here to offer our sincere blessings. They said with their mouths stuffed full, but Liam and I don't mind. Theodore handed us gloves and brought up the previous incident. I told you the rumors these days are just absurd. They've been debunked. There was no monster at school that day. I pressed for more details. Didn't many people claim to have seen it? So many people were there that day. How come the rumors were suddenly debunked? Henry was guzzling down beer. Strangely enough, at first those people clearly said they saw it clearly, but later they all denied having seen the monster. There hasn't been any commotion lately. I looked at Liam. He seemed not to hear and just kept shoveling food into his mouth expressionlessly. He doesn't want to talk about it. The feeling of being called a monster must be very unpleasant. When we were going back, I held Liam's hand behind Theodore and Henry, and whispered in his ear, "You're not a monster." I saw the corners of his pursed lips lift slightly. I kissed him on the cheek. There was a wail from Theodore in front. What a sin. I shouldn't have looked back. I thought everything would just pass by peacefully, but Liam disappeared again. Theodore and Henry went back to school. I just went to the restroom, and Liam, who was waiting for me on the way, was gone again. This time it was different from before. I knew where he had gone. 10 minutes after I couldn't find him, a strange message popped up on my phone. "I'm Liam's father. Let's have a talk at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning." He was taken away by his father. The next morning, I arrived at the appointed place as promised. I scoffed at the 5 million his father offered. "You think this little bit can get rid of me? Add more." I plopped down on the seat. "Add more. 70 million. I won't leave even if you add more." Liam's father's attitude suddenly turned cold. "What can you offer my son when you're with him?" "Happiness." "The so-called happiness of being called a monster by everyone?" His father laughed disdainfully. "If it weren't for me spending money to silence people last time, the fact that Liam almost jumped into the river would have been exposed sooner or later, right? You think you can silence everyone?" It turned out that Liam's disappearance last time was because his father took him away. Originally, I turned a deaf ear to whatever his father said, but his father just had to say, "Don't harm him. Being with him will harm him, right?" I fell silent. I've already found a fiancé for him. It's the right way for snake people to marry each other. Even if you can overcome the gender barrier, you can't cross the species barrier, can you? He paused and repeated again, "Don't harm Liam." The determination I'd made all night wavered. I don't want to harm him. I only want what's best for him. What can you use to guarantee the normal coexistence between snake people and humans? His father stared at me intently with a solemn look. "You don't have the ability." I left, but at the corner, I got in a car and followed Liam's father. Successfully finding Liam's house, I rushed in. "Uncle!" I shouted at the top of my lungs to stop him. I admit that I'm not some great hero who can promote peace among diverse creatures in nature and can't bridge the gaps between different species. But I love him. Our love doesn't need the approval of every human and snake person. The world is full of variety, and I can't satisfy everyone. But our relationship doesn't need to be shown off to anyone, nor does it need their blessings. I bit my lip. Happiness is something you create for yourself. You don't want your son to be unhappy, do you? I threw his words back at him. Don't harm your son. Snake people also have hearts made of flesh. Liam's father agreed to let me and Liam give it a try. "If you make my son exposed again, you can cut me into pieces like an earthworm." Liam and I returned to school and started living an ordinary life as a couple. One day at 2:30 a.m., Theodore had a sudden whim and was seized by the urge to work. He started to do a thorough cleaning in the dormitory alone. When a person gets the urge to work in the middle of the night, not even the king of hell can stop them. Since it was the weekend, the other 3 people in our dormitory were still awake, lying in bed playing with their phones. Theodore suddenly gasped, "Oh my God! What's this in our dormitory? Scales?" He held a broom in his left hand and held up a white scale high with his right hand, which glowed under the dormitory light. "Is it a dragon?" Henry put on his glasses, examined it and came to a conclusion. "It's a snake. A snake." "Stop joking. Liam, Mateo, there's a snake in our dormitory." Having been with Liam for so long, I've already known the habits of snakes like the back of my hand. Recently, the temperature has risen and the weather has been hot. The dry climate has made its scales fall off. Theodore was closest to me and tapped me on the back of my head. "Stop playing snake, Mateo. There's a real snake in our dormitory." "Oh." My reply was very calm. "What a fuss. My boyfriend is a snake." Theodore was irritated by my brief reply. "What if a snake crawls into your bed and bites you in the middle of the night?" "I'd like to see what you'll do then." Liam glanced at me casually. Theodore ran over to Liam. "Liam, there's a snake in our dorm. Aren't you scared at all?" Liam looked even calmer than I did. Yeah, what was there for him to be afraid of? He himself was a snake. Theodore clutched his head. "You're all crazy. In the middle of the night?" I was sleeping soundly when suddenly I felt a wet sensation creeping up from my feet to my legs and then to my waist. The cold body of the snake coiled tightly around me, clinging to me desperately. When I opened my eyes, I found myself curled up in Liam's arms. He was rubbing his face against my body with a greedy look on his face. "What are you doing?" "You gave me a fright," Liam replied softly. I think Theodore was quite right. Right about what? Theodore had been wailing for so long that I didn't know which of his words Liam was referring to. He just asked if you were scared. And you said no. So what? I was completely confused. Then he said, what if a snake crawls into your bed and bites you in the middle of the night? I had a premonition of wanting to run away. Liam slightly curled his lips. I've crawled in and bitten you. Looking at his lustful eyes, I couldn't help shivering. I'm scared. Can't I just admit that I'm scared?